Thank you, Joe. I'm Richard, CEO and founder of Screwpulp, and we are changing the way people publish books and discover books. I'm an amateur writer, and when I sat down to write that great American novel that we all have in us, I wondered, how am I going to publish my work? How am I going to market my work? How am I going to profit from my work? So I started to research the publishing industry, and what I found is that breaking into the traditional model is nearly impossible. You've got to go through professional readers and literary agents before you even make it to the editor's desk. And even if you are published through this archaic model, you're going to receive less than 25% of the final book sale. And 99% of all manuscripts that are submitted to this model are rejected. Well, let's take a look at why. This is a typical literary agent. She'll take in 32,000 inquiries in a year, and she's going to whittle that down to only representing 9 authors. And from those 9 authors, only 5 books will be published. And there are literally thousands of these literary agents doing this every year. And these guys are the experts. So these rejected books, they must be bad, right? Well, let's take Joanne, for example. Joanne wrote a book. She submitted it to 12 different publishing houses. She received 12 different rejection letters. It wasn't until a year later when one of the CEOs took a manuscript home and his 8-year-old daughter got a hold of it, and she begged him to publish. Even then, he only published 500 copies. Joanne's book series, Harry Potter, went on to sell nearly 500 million copies. Now, you may think that this is a once-in-a-lifetime Cinderella story, but every book you see behind me, from Catcher in the Rye to Catch-22, was rejected multiple times, many of them hundreds of times. Agatha Christie was rejected over 500 times over a 4-year period. She went on to sell $2 billion worth of books, and is second only in book sales to William Shakespeare. Now, because of all these hurdles, many people are turning to self-publishing. Self-publishing has grown over 300% over the last 5 years, with nearly 250,000 self-published titles in 2011 alone. Now, self-publishing is great. It does offer more revenue from each book sale to the author, but it has its own problems. There's little to no marketing available, and there are no mechanisms in which to protect the buyer. So if you take the problems of the traditional model and the self-publishing model, the polls indicate that there are nearly 8 million unpublished novels and nearly 17 million unpublished how-to books just sitting out there waiting to be published. For nearly 500 years, an elite few has decided what books we read because the publishing industry controlled the distribution chains. Well, with the advent of the internet, and more importantly, mobile reading devices, those chains have been broken, and now the floodgates are open. So we need more eyes to help filter through the noise and find that good stuff. And just like Harry Potter, it's going to be average readers that do this. So who is going to save these great books from obscurity? Screwpulp. At Screwpulp, we've developed a new self-publishing model that utilizes average readers to both market and vet new books. We know that the best way to market a book is through word of mouth. So at Screwpulp, we give away initial copies in exchange for a social media mention and the promise of a star rating or review. After these initial copies, the price automatically goes up to $1. But now you've got a rating for potential buyers to base their decision on. So if you've got a 5-star book for $1, readers are going to snatch it up. And as your book becomes more popular, that price is going to continue to rise. Now this does 2 things. It not only builds your readership much more quickly, but it also builds confidence in your book's brand. And not only do we, best of all, the best thing about it is our low overhead approach of utilizing average readers allows the author to retain 75% of the final book sale. But not only do we give the author a unique marketplace in which to sell their work, we also provide them with the tools they need to market their work and the analytics they need to track that marketing. And we also provide them with the tools they need to track their sales and their potential sales. We're basically making them the CEO of their own publishing company. And to make sure that we can get their book into the hands of most readers, we provide their book in the format for all types of devices, whether it's an iPad or an Android device, whether it's a Nook or a Kindle. We provide the formats for all of those different devices. And our approach, there's many benefits to our approach. It's easy access, so anyone can publish. There are no rejection letters at Screwpulp. We provide those marketing tools that help the author to get the word out about their book. And our crowd-driven pricing gives clear indications to readers about the quality of the content. And the readers are the ones that drive that content. And of course, we provide more revenue to the author. And we do have some competition out there, but no one is providing all of these services under one umbrella. Both Kindle Direct Publishing and Public by Barnes & Noble only provide the books in the formats for their devices. Well, guess what? Screwpulp provides books for their devices and many others. Our social payment system allows early adopters to actually engage the authors and vice versa. The authors engage the readers. And we are the only ones that are providing these marketing tools along with the sales services. Now, to get to market, we're developing key partnerships with universities, writers groups. We're going to conferences and events, and we're partnering up with trade publications and trade websites. But we have one thing that most companies don't have, and that's built-in virality. That social payment system is already working for us, and we're using direct advertising to go to the readers. Our business model is simple. We keep 25% of each book sale. Now let's see how much money can be made here. If we take a sampling of only 2,500 books, and we know that by industry metrics that 95% of all books sell less than 100 copies. But that 5% that sells between 100 and 100,000 copies, if we take the metrics and run it through our pricing system, that equals $22 million. But don't forget that in 2011, there were 250,000 self-published titles. And with those kind of numbers, we equal $2.2 billion, and that's revenue for Screwpulp. But don't forget about those 25 million unpublished novels and how-to books that are just sitting out there right now. And if we can capture just 1% of those a year, that's another $2 billion. This is a huge market.